Okay, sorry about that. My video got to be a little bit too long, so I had to start another video, and hopefully this one won't be as long as the last one. But okay, I'm going to share my screen again and get back to what we were working on in the last video. Um, so this is the results form, and I copied and pasted a little bit too much info there. So the results, very important because this comes from the results form that we already downloaded, which is right here. Um, And then the next thing to take into account is these are these details right here at the bottom. Now, these are your action levels. And as you saw in chapter 3, if you haven't looked at that, go look at it, but it does talk about the action levels and why those are so important. That means that if the amount of copper or lead in the water is above this level, you have to take action. And that action means um, well, there could be a variety of things. It could mean stopping the consumption of the water or turning the water off. It could be retesting, or it could be checking into the water purification system to see if there's a malfunction that maybe is allowing too much lead or copper into the water. So there could be lots of different fixes for that. But what I'll do for now is just take the copper action level. I'll copy and paste that and put it over here into the action level for anything with copper next to it. So um, let's make sure that I copied that correctly. Yeah, it looks good. All right, so for copper, I'll go back over here and just paste that for all the copper samples. And then I'm going to go back and get the action level for the lead. Go back over here, paste that in. Okay, and then I've got to look and see, I guess for fun, I could do this too. I could just put lead, copper, and then just copy and paste that. Okay, now I'm going to look and see if the results are over the action limit. Now, 0.0001 is not over 0.015. So you could put a number, the difference, you could just put no. It's not over the action limit. Okay, 0.35, is that over 1.3? No, not. But no again. 0.14, is that over 0.015? Yes, that is. That is higher. And then the next one is 1. Is that more than 1.3? No. zero point zero 0.01, is that over 0.015? No. And so forth. So you'll just finish that. And you'll just go through and look and see if you have any actionable findings. So you're going to have one here. I mean, you could highlight that in like yellow or red, make it stand out somehow. You don't have to do that, but that's a great way to get this started. And then once you're all done with this, you can do a screenshot like I showed earlier in the last video, and you can just go like this. You just copy that, come back over to your report, um, just right here, and you can paste it in at some point and just make that a little bit bigger so it's more visible. Um, and you can do that. That's just one option that I recommend doing because it is relatively clean to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because I don't want to keep it. But hopefully this helped just to kind of get the basic structure of your report built. And just to reiterate again, um, you want to come over. Oh, looks like I may have navigated away from the page I was on last video here. Yeah, sorry about that. You want to go over here and just make sure to look at every one of these days and include these in your narrative. Your narrative is going to have a lot of this. You could say day 1, I walked around with this guy named John Keller and we did the inspection and identified the areas that we would be doing sampling from. I came back the next day and then I labeled all of my water bottles with the sampling numbers that correspond with that. And then I collected my samples. I was very careful in making sure to collect the first drop. That sort of detail is really good to include in your report. And use your imagination. You can include other details as well. You can say I wore my really comfortable shoes because we walked a couple miles around campus to try and find all these places, something like that. I don't know. Okay, so we have the initial results. Then you have your follow-up results. And this is also something really important. And it's going to talk about that here, that in your initial samples, you were sampling 1 liter of water. And that is in here somewhere, and I'm just not seeing it. So that's important. Include your 1 liter. And then when you do your follow-up samples, you're going to only sample 250 milliliters of water. You're not going to need that much water. So then we're going to download the follow-up results. So again, you hit the download button, you download it again, put it up from the queue, and then here they are. And it says right here, the lab and the location where they came from. But these are your follow-up results. So part 2. So then what you can do is just you can again make this up, or you can just copy and paste what's there, and you're just going to leave 1 line between the initial samples and the follow-up samples. Okay, and so I'm going to try and close this. It calls out to do that. As you collect your follow-up samples, get the first drop, fill out the chain of custody form. Okay, you're in good shape. And yeah, you'll want to leave some space between your initial and your follow-up. So I'll go back to that, and we'll do a little bit of that too. So going back to the follow-up, those areas of concern were for lead only. And so we're just testing for lead, and you can go back and put that right here. And then your volume, oops, we'll paste that here. And let's see here. Yeah, your concentration. Yeah, we'll need that to go here. And of course, you can take all of your lead action limit and put that there. And then you can confirm if any of these are over the action limit. And you can see this one is, because 0.16 is higher than 0.15. So I would just say yes. The 0.005 is not over 0.015, so I would just say no. And again, that one's no as well. So the only one that really stands out as being confirmed as being a little bit on the high side is lead. Okay. Let's see here. And hopefully that helps kind of get you squared away a little bit on how to get started on this. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the instruction form here. So we did the follow-up results. Okay, another really important part that you're going to need for this paper, and you're going to need this for all of the papers, is the appendices. And I'll go ahead and download, or I guess I won't download it. I'll just open it up and show you. If I go back, I can open up this one as well, and they'll just stay open on my screen here. We'll look at Appendix A, and that talks about writing safety and health inspection reports. Again, this works for all the reports in the course. So this is going to cover things that we already covered in the first video that you've watched today, but you've got your title page, and then you've got things that need to go into your table of contents. And you could copy and paste it from here too if you wanted. The body of the report, this is going to be super important. So you got your introduction, things to include in your introduction for these. date of inspection, type of inspection, name of the client, all those things that we included on the cover page as well. And then you've got survey observations and narratives. So describe what was done or observed during the survey and give some details on each specific day of the survey. A new paragraph for each day of the survey. This is the type of detail that you need to be kind of combing through and looking for, so you don't leave anything out. And so it gives you an example here of like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then what types of information to include in those days. Okay, then you have to have a new section, just like it states right here, of your sampling methods. Then you're going to address all your sampling methods. You're even going to talk about how when you did your follow-up sampling, you used 250 milliliter bottles, not 1 liter bottles. And then you're also going to talk in a separate paragraph about how you sent them to the lab. So you could say you drove them to the lab yourself, or that you sent them via one of these couriers. Um, okay. And then your sampling results. Then you're going to be talking about that table that we just filled out of your initial samples and then your follow-up samples. Let's see what else. Then you got your conclusions and your recommendations. Make sure to include all of that. And then in your appendices, you'll want to include all the things that we just used, like your sampling form, your chain of custody, follow-up chain of custody, and the follow-up results. So, okay, I am going to go back to Appendix C and just kind of walk through this real quick too, because this is going to show like, this is what we downloaded is the drinking water sampling sheet. And this shows the instructions that are on the second page that we already downloaded. So might not be as useful to look at that right now. Um, but you do have the chain of custody form, and that's another one that you're going to have to fill out. And these are the instructions on how to fill out the chain of custody form. Okay, we already downloaded it. And, or no, I didn't download that yet. I'll go back and download that for you and show you what that looks like. But this is all the steps to go into um, the chain of custody form. All the chain of custody form is as a form that you are sending off to the lab, and you're going to include all of your sample numbers here, the sample type, the data was sampled, you can make up the time. And then you're going to put that you're sampling for metals. And I'll go ahead and I'll do 1 or 2 of those for you and just show you what that looks like. Okay, so going back to the instructions page, I'm going to download the chain of custody form. Okay. Chain of custody form, I'll go ahead and download that and then go and open it from my queue here. And then again, you could fill it out here and then do a screenshot and copy and paste that, or you can paste this in. As I mentioned, I think screenshots are a good option. So what I'll do is now there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 9 lines on this. So what I'm going to do is insert another line below. In fact, I'm going to insert a few more. And then that way I can just copy my sample number and put it there. So I'll go back to my initial results page and I'm going to put all of these in. It's right here. Oops. Okay, a little better. And then I'm going to include the sample type, which that was included in the, where was it? Um, let's see, back on my testing form, make sure I get that right. Oops. Let's see here. Yeah, we got the ID. Yes, okay. So then we're going to put, yeah, which type that was. And I'm going to get that from here. Copy that. Oops, I didn't paste that correctly. Okay. The date, you can make that up. Time, you can make that up. And then you're just going to put over here that you are sample which metals you're sampling for. Do lead and copper. I think you can do a check mark. You could probably just do an X there too. And that's pretty much it. You're going to have to fill in this area down here, which is also described in the instructions page right here. Whoops, close that still. But it is going to walk you through here how to include that or how to complete that chain of custody form. Sorry, looking at the wrong one. So yeah, make sure to fill that out and look at every one of these lines and make sure to include those. So, okay. Well, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in this video. I don't want to make it too long. Hopefully it wasn't, but yeah. So let me know if you have any questions. I do want to help you out going forward. If you have any questions on this video or what you're seeing in the instructions or those appendices A and C, those are extremely helpful. So make sure that that you take those into consideration and get those done correctly up front. And then, for the other assignments that are coming in the following weeks, you're going to want to use these appendices also. So, it's the same PDF document, but you'll just skip down and forget about these things for now. And then in your next assignment, you'll just start looking at these. And maybe I'll do another video for you as well on the air sampling, how to do the air sampling part. It might be a little more complicated than the water quality one, but it's basically the same idea with, your chain of custody and your initial sampling form. And once you've done this once or twice, it becomes quite a bit easier. So anyway, signing off for now. And again, let me know if you have any questions and good luck. Take care.